Most people are wasting tens of hours on outreach, doing various things, from things that work to things that do not work. And they're just spending all their time trying to get clients, trying to acquire clients without having a framework for what actually works in 2026, what you should not do, what you should stop doing, and ultimately how to actually get great clients that actually want to work with you. In this video, we're going to be tracking everything from cold calls to cold email to building a brand to paid ads, and ultimately seeing how everything ranked. And ultimately at the end of the video, I'll be advising you on which one works, having tried all of them before, and we'll walk you back on all of the systems that go into place in terms of how to actually do all of these things, what to spend your time on, where you should start out if you're just starting out from scratch, you don't have enough capital, and what strategy is best to actually acquire clients in 2026. So ultimately, there are different ways to acquire client. You have cold SMS, you have cold email, you have cold calling, you have Instagram DMs, LinkedIn DMs or LinkedIn outreach, you have paid ads, and you have content or building a branding system or building a brand. So before I get into it and actually tell you what system you should use, what I ultimately want to break down is why what you're doing possibly is not working and why you haven't been seeing results from what you're doing. You see, in terms of outreach, you have ultimately a couple goals, and those goals are very simple. Let me break it down to you. You want people to hear about you, so you want people to know about the goods or service you have to offer. You want people to trust you. That means you want to have some form of testimonial or some form of proven work that you can show to show people that you can do a good job. And then ultimately, when you want get people to know you, people to trust you, you also want people to like you. You want people to have a feel of your personality, a feel of your brand, a feel of your company. Even if you're not the front face of your company, you still want people to have an idea of who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. And you want them to ultimately feel like there's an affinity that they can build with you and your company. Now, that being said, in every single thing, I'm going to go over how it helps you build affinity, how number two, it helps you get people to know you, and ultimately how you can get people to trust you through that medium. We're ultimately going to start from what I think is possibly the worst outreach method. It works. I have a friend that has done over 100k per month with this outreach method. Even if I consider it the worst, I still think it works because everything I'm going to talk about actually works. We're talking about cold SMS. So SMS to an audience that doesn't know you, they don't know anything about you, they don't trust you, and then you just get an SMS from a stranger. First of all, first thing you have to deal with is tight regulations. So there's so many regulations about sending an SMS to somebody or to a list that do not know you. So the regulations on this are pretty tight, and most of the time it's most likely going to be illegal. But it's definitely possible if you can get consent to actually get these people's numbers and blast out an SMS. What you want to do here is you want to be quick to the point, straight to the point, and actually get to the point of what you're doing. Which means, let's take for example, you run a lead gen agency that helps real estate agents get more leads. Then the first thing you have to focus on is actually, this is a service I do. Now I'm going to find a list of real estate agents I can talk to. When you find this list of real estate agents that are open to your service or need your service, what you want to go to them with is a 2 to 3 punch text going, boom, this is who we are, this is what we do, and this is how we can help you, and this is the result we can get to you. I ultimately think it's low trust, high volume, but if you're able to build the volume as much as possible, so you're possibly sending out at least 1,000 SMS every day, you should be able to book something serious, especially if you have cold traffic coming into you or you have a lead list that's pretty good. Now, personally, I've never done cold SMS to just a number that I've never known and I didn't get it from anywhere. I just bought a list. Never sent out cold SMS, but I do have friends that it has worked for, so that is why it's on my D tier, because it does work. I've heard it works for other people. I've just never tried it because these people don't know you. They don't even know anything about you. You don't even have any way to even have any concept of who you are. And it's also pretty hard to actually send out a link to show, hey, this is who I am. I'm a real person. It's just hard. So I do not suggest you go for it. The next one is cold calling. And I put this at the C tier because this is the grinder. This is where you're just going to be grinding. And it's like you're going to go days, possibly months, just dialing 100 numbers every day and possibly getting the numbers hung up on you. Here, I think you really need a good voice. So you need to sound confident on the phone. You sound like you know what you're doing. And you also need to sound pleasant on the phone. So that means people ultimately, when they listen to you on the phone, they go, I don't know this person, but this person seems least trustworthy. Some no-nos are you cannot have an accent. You cannot have an accent and be cold calling people. It's not going to work. You're going to piss people off. It's just going to be a whole thing. So if you do not have an accent and you sound very confident and you're like a confident sounding person and you've been told you have a great voice, then cold calling with a good script can work for you. Ultimately, I've done a lot of cold calls and it didn't work out so well for me, but I know people that have scaled scaled their agency and have gotten clients. And there's still many millions of businesses that scaled over $1 million a month that rely essentially on cold calls. So it definitely does work. I've seen it work for other people. It hasn't worked for me, and I'm just being as transparent as possible. It's a grind. Your pickup rates are very low, but also it costs you about $0. You can use your regular phone plan that allows you to make unlimited calls. You just call people in your area and offer them your service. It's mainly about how you pitch them. Do you sound like a real human being? Do you sound likable? Do you sound like you're just somebody that's out for the money? If you can make yourself sound like somebody that has a useful service to offer, then ultimately this would be a good acquisition strategy. You just have to try out and see if you're up for the grind. The next strategy that I'll say is a B tier strategy would be Instagram. So basically Instagram DMs or LinkedIn DMs. I'd say it's a B tier strategy because I have done Instagram DMs and it's definitely worked for me. I've gotten clients through Instagram DMs. The main thing is just you have to have an optimized page. So your page on Instagram has to look like a real person, actually has real value to offer. And then ultimately what you want to do is you want to go in and DM people and not sound like a weirdo. You just, hey, I saw you're in this industry and I help people in this industry do this, do that. Ultimately, if you lead with value up front, that's even better. So you can ultimately say, hey, I made this quick video for you to check out. It will help you solve this problem you're having. Or, hey, I made this quick landing page for you to check out. It would probably help you with your business. Or, hey, I saw that you're having this problem and this is how you can solve it, and just help people in their DMs straight away. That's a really strong strategy. And with Instagram DMs, I'll place it at a B tier because it definitely works. It helps to build rapport, especially if you have a great page on Instagram. All of these things come with caveats. If you don't have a great page on Instagram and you're spamming people through like Instagram DM spamming application or SaaS software, it's not really going to work that much because you're just one of the spammers in people's DMs and they're just going to leave you in like freaking requested tab. So it's like, dude, maybe back in like 2018 you could actually get into people's DMs, but today, like, you're just spamming, you're just gonna be like freaking 20 to 100 other spamming people in like requested tabs, and you're never gonna get into like main directory. So that's something to keep in mind. But Instagram DMs definitely do work. LinkedIn, I'm really not on LinkedIn. I don't really like that platform, but LinkedIn is a great platform if you offer B2B solutions, especially if your organization is more corporate. Then you can go on LinkedIn and actually just, and say, hey, this is what I do, this is what I help. Cold email, I place this at a B tier system. It's reliable. Businesses actually open their emails, especially businesses that are, on email. So if you have like a owner that is kind of in the corporate world, you can almost get to almost anyone via email as long as you have the right email and you source those emails correctly. Most businesses have great emails. All you need to do is have a great offer, have a company that, on LinkedIn, or have a website that actually explains what your company is and what your company is about, because people will actually do their due diligence. One of the people I've seen succeed the most with cold emails are people do their due diligence. They can come across your LinkedIn page, your YouTube profile, your Instagram profile, your website, or you have a great SEO behind you. Those are people that are really going to succeed with cold email, because when people see your cold email, they might be a bit inquisitive. They try to type your name on Google, boom, they get information. They go back into their cold email and see, hey, was requesting 15 minutes for me and they seem like a legit person. I'll just reply and say interested, or on a quick call, or give me more information. Now, there are people that succeed with cold email. I would say cold email is ultimately scalable because you can send out 100 emails, or you can send out 500 emails a day, or you can send out 1,000 emails a day. There are people that go as high as thousands of emails every single day to acquire clients, and they're able to scale their businesses to over $1 million a month. So there are ultimately a lot of strategies you can use, but I'd say cold email is definitely a B tier strategy. I would put it above Instagram DMs right now, just simply because DMs is not really that scalable. I don't know of any good softwares that actually help you. Actually, a bunch of Instagram DMs. A lot of people just manually do it with VAs, or they have like a tool that helps them maybe send out 50 DMs a day. And also with Instagram, one Instagram account is only allowed to send out, I think, 25 Instagram DMs. So it's like, Facebook doesn't even want you to be saying no. Anyways, the next one that I think is A tier is paid ads. One of the cons of this, it's expensive, but the pro is it's super reliable. You pay for traffic. So if you want 1,000 unique business owners who are your specific ICP, your intended client profile, to actually see your page and know who you are and know what you do, all you have to do is rely on paid ads. You pay Mr. Zuckerberg $1,000 and he shows your page to 10,000 people. Now you have 10,000 potential people who legitimately saw your page. All you need to do is have good creatives, have a good offer, and have a good landing page that you can direct people to. Ultimately, if you have a good offer, you have a good page, you have a good landing page, then the next thing is your sales process. process. You could have a sales process that's converting at, anywhere from 10 to 30 to even 50% based on, how much authority you have in that market. And ultimately, now you're scaling with, 1 to 3 ROAS. So for every dollar you put in, you get $3 back, and it's ultimately scalable. And there are businesses that have scaled past 10 million a month. There are businesses that have scaled ultimately to the $1 billion revenue just relying on Mr. Zuck and Meta ads. In terms of paid ads, I mainly have, most of the Meta ads, but Google search ads are also really good too. YouTube ads are really killing it. So A strategy, paid ads, nothing beats it. Now, for S strategy, I would say it's content plus branding. Now, with this strategy, you could have a return on ad spend of infinity. Literally, for distribution, you're just making YouTube videos or you're making Instagram videos, and then you're acquiring clients literally for free. So this is ultimately the S tier. It's the same thing that Kylie Jenner did, Mr. Beast did, Logan Paul, the Nelk Boys, all of these organizations that have ultimately crossed the $1 billion revenue or the $1 billion market cap point are all built on free client acquisition. So they just have a YouTube channel or they have an Instagram page, and they're able to just run up the numbers. So this is what I call S tier. And ultimately, this is for people that are influencers. But even if you're not an influencer, there are a lot of brands that basically have great branding and they just bring in organic cash for free. I'd ultimately say if you're like a business owner, you're not sure where you should be at, I'd say combining multiple of these would be the best strategy. So I'd say probably if you do not have that much capital, say maybe try out, a bit of cold call, or maybe try outreach to your close community, your close environment. What I found anyways, in practical terms is, it's a bit easier to sell strangers than to sell somebody that knows you, because the person that knows you has their preconceived bias and everything. So it's like, you don't start proving to people that you're actually good at what you do. You just want somebody that doesn't have a preconception about you to actually see you for the services you have to offer. Ultimately, I think the best strategy is combining some form of content plus brand, which is your A strategy, or which is like your main strategy, and then combining that with some form of paid ads. So that's retargeting campaigns and all of that fun stuff. I think that's the way to print in 2026, because just relying on paid ads are getting a bit more expensive. Mr. Zuck, tightening the, increasing, the CPMs. If you want to print in 2026, you need some form of content plus branding plus paid ads. If you are a beginner, then going with the cold calls or cold SMS or Instagram DMs might be a better strategy for you. But ultimately, say if you have like, up from $3,000 to $5,000, I think you should go straight into paid ads, combine that with some form of content. Your life will be way easier. And I think that's why you go into business anyways, to make your life easier. If you go into business to grind, then sheesh, man. The other things you can do, you could go run a marathon, that's better. I hope you got some value out of this video. That's the end of this video. Comment down below. I want to start making more videos like this for anyone that's interested. So let me know what you'd like to see. I'm implementing a bunch of strategies of what I've been learning in the past, in my past 5 years or so of being an online business owner and, running business. Let me know what you'd like to see, what experience you'd like to learn, and I'll see if I can help out.